Namaste everyone. So next we move on to the lecture series 2 in economics. So in my previous lecture I just said this quote, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. And then I had a question, if all power is within us, then why are we failing in life? And the answer to this question is the quote by Swami Vivekananda. And the quote is, what power is higher than the power of purity? Swami Vivekananda. When Swami Vivekananda addressed the Chicago address as Sisters and Brothers of America, everyone stood up in standing ovation and clapped for 2 minutes. The reason for this is the purity behind the words of Swami Vivekananda. His soul was very pure, his mind was very pure. And that is the purity of Swami Vivekananda, and that is the purity of our country, India. So to really bring out all powers from within us, we need to be pure, and that is the highest power. That is the power of purity. So now let us move on to the next concept. Law of returns to scale, production function with two variable inputs, long-term laws of production. All these three laws have the same answer. Now in my previous lecture series we have seen that output was being changed when one variable input, labor, was being changed and capital was constant. Here you have two variable inputs, so both the labor as well as capital are being changed. In long term, I think there are no fixed inputs, so you have both inputs, labor and capital, changing. So in this law, we are going to see how the output is going to change when both the inputs, labor and capital, are being changed in the long run. Before moving on to that, let us see what is an isocont curve. Iso means equal and quantus means quantity. So if you see this graph, you have different combinations of labor and capital. On labor you have, on x-axis you have labor, and on y-axis you have capital. And if you see at point A, you have different measures of labor and capital, and at point B you have different measures of labor and capital. Similarly at point C and D. But all these combinations give us the same quantity of output, 100. So with different combinations of capital and labor, the points A, B and C, D all have the same output. So that is what is meant by an isocont curve. It is meaning that you have the same output for different combinations of capital and labor. So now, what is law of returns to scale? Law of returns to scale explains the behavior of output when you change the inputs. So when a firm expands the scale in long run, you can change both the inputs, and what happens is the output may increase more than proportionately, that is increasing returns to scale. The output may increase proportionally, and that is constant returns to scale, and output may increase less than proportionally, and that is diminishing returns to scale. Now let us see the graphs. As you know, in economics, graphs are very important. The first graph is increasing returns to scale. If you see point A, you have 1K capital and 1L labor. So these are the inputs and the output Q is 10. Now what happens if you increase labor and capital? So you see point B, when you're increasing the capital and labor proportionately, 2K and 2L, what is happening to the output? The output is becoming 25. So initially when the inputs are 1K and 1L at point A, the output is 10, and when you're increasing the inputs proportionately, the output is increased more than double. So that is the meaning of increasing returns to scale. And then you have constant returns to scale. At point A you have, for example, at point A you have 1L labor and 1K capital. And when this is increased to 2K and 2L at point B, the output is just doubling from 10 to 20, and that is the meaning of constant returns to scale. And finally, you have decreasing returns to scale. At point A, you have 1K and 1L as the inputs, and at point B, you have 2K and 2L as the inputs. And what is happening to the inputs, to the outputs when inputs are doubled? You see, at 1K and 1L, the output is 20. And when you're doubling the inputs to 2K and 2L, the output is actually less than double. So it's decreasing. It's not 20, it is 18. So when you're increasing the inputs proportionately, the output is not increasing proportionately, it is actually falling down from 10 to 18. That is the meaning of decreasing returns to scale. So that ends the topic today. So today we have seen law of returns to scale, and also we have seen a powerful quotation of Swami Vivekananda, what power is higher than the power of purity. Let us be pure and let us conquer the world. Thank you. Jai Swamiji.